get in my way now.
It's time for the GSTL. Again, I am Wolf. With me is Caldor, and the season is really starting now. We're out of the preliminaries. It's going to be the first match, and I'm excited.
Yeah, so am I. We have today once again Fnatic, and they are up against the champion. Last GSTL was won by FXO. GOMTV actually single-handedly defeated Slayers in the grand final in Busan, and today we see FXOpen up against Fnatic. It's going to be a great game.
Fnatic, one of two teams able to qualify through the preliminaries. Fnatic and LGIM, who will be playing against Slayers tomorrow, are both in. So Fnatic, someone who had to play through that preliminary based on their performance last season, now has to first play against the best team, arguably the team that won, the former champion of last year, and or not last year, but last season. GOMTV with the all kill there, and you know, some people wonder, was it even was GOMTV even the strongest player on the team? I don't think so, but he certainly was in the finals.
It was actually Lucky and Linok who said after the games that they're really happy that they were able to win the final, but at the same time they were a little bit sad that they could not show how good they were, how well they were prepared for everything.
And plus their families, all their families were you know, from Busan, and they came to watch them, and they didn't get to see, you know, their sons play.
GOMTV turned it into a one-man show. Today though, on the other hand, all these players will have their chance to shine, and with Linok doing so well lately, especially in Code S. He's playing, I think, next Tuesday actually in his Code S group.
I believe that's correct.
Could be really, really exciting, of course, but Linok and GOMTV are not the only players in the roster. FXO is one of those teams that always makes it work.
Yeah. Fnatic with a bunch of great players as well, and Hwani having some really great strategies and ideas coming into this is going to be helping them out quite a bit. I think that even though they're the champions last season, they won last season at 5-0, I think this match is going to be closer than people think. FXOpen doesn't have these dominating players, but they have great decision-making, arguably the best out of any team out there.
And the thing about Fnatic, coming back to the Fnatic team, is, by the way, that they mentioned in the past also, just in the last interview, it was really close for them to actually qualify now for the season, and they said they need to step it up a little bit more. Especially Live mentioned this is one of the interviews that he thinks they should step up the training because he felt like they were not really prepared. They took some of the matches a little bit too lightly. In the end, together with LGIM, they qualified now for the season, but we will find out today how much they really practiced for this match.
Yep. And let's take a look at that team information, you know, basically get a little bit more of an idea of how these teams shape up against each other. You can see Fnatic having a pretty even race distribution. FXOpen, on the other hand, a few fewer Process, many Process actually slowly but steadily leaving the team.
Two Code S players for FXO, we have two Code A players, Fnatic has two players in Code A as well, and here of course the captains Moon and Lucky, two Zerg players leading the charge.
And don't get too scared if you see two Alives at the bottom right of the screen. He does have the highest win rate and is tied with Moon for the highest contribution. And you can see the win distribution here. Fnatic actually coming through in the end most often, which is kind of cool actually to see.
At the same time, we have an old picture of Alive with his old hair, and it would actually be so funny if you could clone these players. That would be so cool.
I know, I'm looking down, I'm like, what if we had two Alives?
Nah, that would be a little bit scary.
One of the Alive dyes his hair back, the other one doesn't.
And Wolf could finally compare both of them. He walks in, one of them is like, yeah, I like this a little better.
I want them to be on this like car show pedestal where he just spins around slowly while he stands there.
Okay, that's just silly. But now I have the picture in my head.
That's how they should do actually the captains of the team. They should actually show a graphic of them like just spinning around where they have like a whole shot of the entire body just spins around. That's what I want, man. That's how the captains should be shown.
And then they make you poses.
They could just stand there if they want. They could do poses. I think it would be cool.
I don't know how it would look like.
Because team captains are actually basically fancy cars. If you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I'm not sure if they're more like a sedan or even an SUV at times with July Zerg, but I don't know.
Can't believe you just did that. July Zerg will come back with his army training and he will kick your butt.
He's going to be like a tank after that. Well, here is FXOpen coming out with their championship flag. I really like that nice added touch.
Yeah, Lucky carrying the flag. He was really sad that he was not able to succeed in the Code A qualifier. He did really, really well, but in the end it was not him qualifying. I talked to him earlier about it, and He just started laughing when he saw him. He's like, I can't believe that I didn't make it happen. He really wants to get back into Code A, wants to achieve something in the individual league, but so far entrance was not possible for him. But here we have, of course, the late Noctopus.
Yeah, he's wearing the jersey, the jacket today, signifying he's a special player, of course.
He's in good spirits. He's in really, really good spirits. I think he has gained a pound or two. I actually offered him to go to the gym with me, but he refuses.
Well, let's take a look at their players, of course, broken down by race, starting with the captain of the team, who is, of course, Lucky.
Here we have our Zergs. Lucky, Linux, Sirius, Whale, and JKS. It looks a little bit like FXO is the new TSL.
Yeah, actually, you could say that. Now, Choya is still a participating player and is on the roster, even though he's the coach and manager. You have Tyr, of course, and Gumiho. The Best and ASD make up our Terrans.
ASD, of course, being in Code A. He plays next week on Tuesday, to be exact. He plays against Mana, and at the same day we will also see Naniwa.
The team actually looks in high spirits, all of them with smiles right now. And this is the type of team spirit that you need going into this best of 9 match, where even though you are the defending champion, that's something you have to defend. You have to prove that there wasn't a fluke, that you can actually just defeat every team you face. Even a weaker team like Fnatic, as far as results go, they're going to have to try hard, but they're going to have to prepare well.
And for a lot of these players, it's their only chance to actually show their skills, to make sure that they get a little bit of exposure on camera, because they are not in Code A nor in Code S. Always a tricky situation to be in. And at the same time, having another look at the opposing team at Fnatic, and here they are. A live Rain. Here we have Oz, Moon, of course, also in the middle. And if you look at it, we have 5 players, so it's the minimum requirements that you have to have for the GSTL.
And they have a lot more players on their roster, but not all of their players do live in Korea, as they are an international team. So if some players are in Korea at the time of a match, they can't participate. The irony here slightly is, of course, that Oz was one of the top and best Protosses on FXOpen at the time that it was merged with Poyu, and now he's playing for the opposing team, so he knows a lot of the players really well. He's got some history with them.
It's a really good point that you're raising here. It's also one that Ukwani talked about in the interview after the last game, when they knew that they had to prepare for FXO, and he said that he thinks Oz will be able to help them a lot with the preparations.
Yeah.
Just reading the team.
Oz also used to be a coach for Height Sparkies as well as a player. He has got a lot of knowledge. Let's take a look at the Fnatic roster. A lot of these players not in Korea right now.
And we, of course, also starting things with the Zerg players here. Moon being the captain.
Yep. And here they are: Moon, Departure, Byul, and Jay. Jay, a former OGS player, who's recently joining.
Exactly, his former ID, Lovesick. Here we have the Terrans with a live Rain, and Nama, who is still displayed at being Hearthstone.
And here is, of course, Niden, Oz, and Ares, our Protoss players. Ares has some nerve issues, people have said in the past, so he has not actually come out to play yet in the team league.
In regards to the race distribution, we have a really well-rounded lineup. 2 coaches.
Yeah.
They have to make the decisions.
They really do. And I think they're going to be relying on Oz a lot for some of these decisions. Oz really knows how Choya thinks so well. And not only that, but he used to be a coach himself. He's a smart player. And a good player at that. He's got a lot of skill.
And there are actually 2 players missing on the bench right now. Didn't we see Moon earlier?
You know, I mean, now you said, I'm like, I feel like I saw him, but maybe it was just in the player intros.
I actually didn't. I don't think he's here today, to tell you the truth.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, I haven't seen him. I went to the players earlier and just wish them good luck for the games. Here we have the starting player for FXO. It is Sirius.
Yeah, Sirius going to be starting things off here. And I like this. Sirius is a good player. Hasn't really been able to prove himself per se, but at the time that I was on FXOpen and the teams were merging, Sirius, I felt at that time, was the best Zerg versus Terran player that they had. Obviously, times have changed quite a bit. Lenok, I think, is definitely the one now, but Sirius definitely had a lot of potential, and he still does.
It just shows that FXO is taking this really serious.
Yeah, they really are, man. A very serious start here to the match. And Sirius, not a lot of results, so he's really got to prove himself today. Being the first player, not a lot of games played either for Fnatic to study.
It's actually funny because the opponent for Sirius is going to be the former OGS player. You could actually spot him in the booth.
Yep, it's Jay here. And he's he's a pretty smart player. He does have some vulnerability to all-ins. He does die to those quite often, and this is EVZ, a matchup where we may see an early pool.
What this comes down to, of course, that we have a Zerg versus Zerg, and if you look at the statistics for both of these players, CVZ is one of the matchups that they did not really play all that often. Especially when we talk about series, he played roughly 4 games, he lost every single one of them. He lost to Boom Boom within 4-0, that's basically the only match that he played in this matchup. This was, let me just confirm that, against Boom Boom was actually in the ESV Korean Weekly, or that was like last year, so nearly a year ago.
A long time ago.
Lovesick on the other hand has a 50% win ratio in this matchup with 30 games played. The last Zerg versus Zerg, he lost to Sleep.
Yeah, and the map they're going to be playing on is going to be Ohana, in fact. 2-player map. Relatively medium-sized map, I would say. Looks can be deceiving when you look at the map preview for this map. It's a lot longer than it looks, but it's not a big map. There's not a ton of bases here.
It's a map where we've seen a lot of aggression in the past as well, so we have different options of what you can pull off. Both of them are getting ready for their game right now.
And man, Lovesick, I've almost never seen someone so ready to go in the booth. He is actually leaning forward, he's spamming that keyboard. You can see how tensed up his right arm is, for example. If you look closely at it, he has got to be super pumped for this match.
And the game is about to start, ladies and gentlemen. The GSTL has started. We have Fnatic against FXOpen. And our first game is going to be a ZVZ on Ohana. It's going to be Lovesick against Sirius. Let's get ready and jump into the game. Get the GSTL cast by Caldon Wolf.
3, 2, 1, go! Feed my motor! Burning tires!
Starting to the top left of the map, we have the FXOpen player. His ID and his attitude, they are...
FXO serious.
Yeah, this guy...
CC serious business.
Oh, by the way, his opponent, starting for Fnatic, is going for a 9 pool in the blue down here. A very excited player today. This is...
Fnatic late call J.
And you know, this is exactly what we talked about earlier. This is one of the maps where you see a lot of aggression, where you see a lot of early pools, and Jay is proving this right now. He's going for the 9 pool, as you already mentioned. And the big question is now, what exactly will Sirius do? If Sirius goes now for a 15 hatch, then suddenly he is in trouble, as those Zerglings will be able to put a lot of pressure onto his mineral line. So far we have him at 14 supply, and he makes no... Oh, there it is, the 15th drone. Is he going for the hatch? It certainly looks like it.
It absolutely does. I can't imagine him not.
There it is.
But he goes
Nice.
for the pool.
15 pool instead of 14 pool, not going for the hatch.
FXOpen bench clapping a little bit when they saw that pool go down. And this is going to help him defend greatly. Not only will he be able to defend with no problem as long as he micros correctly, but he's going to have a slight advantage in workers and also with resources mined.
If you want to prepare correctly, or if you want to react accordingly, what you have to do is just pull all your drones together and get into these small pockets at the mineral patches, cluster them up so that the Zerglings are not able to really attack.
Yeah.
And if they don't pay attention, they will actually be killed themselves. So this is one of the situations that is a little bit tricky. And Jay is also committing to a lot of Zerglings. He does not only rely on 6 of them, no, he builds 10 in total and now starts with this queen. This is the one advantage that he has the production. But at least the hatch is going to be cancelled.
Yeah, he's definitely aiming for that. If the hatchery is not cancelled by some miracle, then he's going to really be hurting in economy. But you should be able to force the cancel. Your drone's actually already coming down to fend this off a little bit. This is really interesting that he would pull the drones here first. This actually buys a lot of time, but he loses some mining time here. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this quite like this before, but I'm not sure how effective it's going to be at the end of the day.
I think he will be able to defend. If he buys himself a little bit more time, then he should be able to get more Zerglings into the picture, and then he can definitely take on these Lings for Jay. So the hatch might actually not have to be cancelled. It's going to be close, though. He doesn't really have a lot here that he can work with.
Yeah, he needs to hit that hatchery. He might actually have to commit to it now if he wants to force the cancel. Decides to fight here. Oh my god, will he hold it?
It certainly looks like he will. Yeah, he's taking down those Zerglings, and he is definitely able to save this hatch. So really well done by the FXOpen player.
Insane. Great decision making there. FXOpen Zergs, some of the best at defending early attacks in all matchups. And, you know, Lenok, his drone drilling is superb, for example. We've seen... we just saw him hold this hatchery with using earlier drones. Now, Jay is very behind.
Exactly. Sirius has the same harvest account. He has the queen too. He is going for... He has also, of course, the hatch now, so he has a better production. He has the expansion a lot faster, so he's in a great position, whereas Jay is really hard-pressed. The bench, I just turned around and had a quick look at the FXO bench. These guys are really smiling. They know that their player is in an awesome position here to take this CVZ. But first of all, he has to bring it home.
Yeah, he does. And he's just poking away at this hatchery a little bit, which I do like. Obviously, he's going to be pulled back now. But if, for example, Jay was trying to make some extra drones to try to compensate for what happened earlier, then he might have been in trouble here. The queen cannot get too far forward. If he actually catches that queen, he can lose all the Lings and target it down, and he'll be totally happy with that trade.
And with the extra lava that Sirius has, he can now start a superior drone production as well, get ahead in economy, and just make sure that he increases that advantage that he has. We have a slight lead in overall supply for him at this point, and he's also taking the lead, of course, in the harvest account. 28 to 23 right now. Speed is actually for both of them at roughly the same time, but you can see that Sirius just has the drones a lot earlier. And he also forces Jay to take the spine crawler, because Jay right now, he does not know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, he's a little bit in the dark. If it were just a baneling nest without speed, he could be in a lot of trouble. And I mean, you can see that the hatchery is up and that's mining, and he knows it's damaged, but there's no way for him to really capitalize on that. There's no way for him to get a unit group large enough to actually break through and kill the hatchery. He is making a baneling nest right now, but that's defensive as well.
Sirius takes his own baneling nest, so if it comes down to the baneling wars, he will be fine here, and that's the only thing that he needs to defend to. A lot of Lings dying here, and suddenly the screen was in a little bit of trouble, but on the other hand, Sirius decides to move back as he only has 4 Zerglings. Not enough to make this work, especially with the spine crawler finishing.
Yeah, and that was a cool little trade though, because he knows he's ahead, and he basically traded dead even, and when you're ahead and you trade even, you just get further ahead. Both of them making 12 Lings right now, and it looks like Sirius actually wants to put the aggression on with this baneling nest, but I feel that with all the Lings that Jay is making, he already saw the Lings come across the map, he's going to be totally prepared for this. He starts his banelings defensively at home first.
Yeah, the Ling count is currently a little bit in favor of Sirius, that one's for sure, and he's now getting those banelings that you talked about, whereas the harvest account is at 36 to 30 in favor of the FXO player. And if he just trades cost efficiently here, he will still have the better economy.
Yeah, this is so true, and the banelings are morphing at the front here a little bit. Oh my god.
This could have been game deciding.
I don't even think I've ever seen a trade that bad. And then he trades 1 baneling for 1 Ling there. Oh, this is really looking bad for Jay suddenly.
This is horrible. He tries to take the harvesters down. He kills 3 of them. Is he able to take down more? It certainly looks like he will at least... Oh god, he kills the Zerglings as well.
Oh wow, that was the most cost-efficient trade. I saw the worst cost-efficiency trade ever, and then I saw the best just back-to-back, and it was a beautiful thing to see.
First of all, Sirius takes down a lot of Zerglings from Jay, and then he takes down the harvesters as well, and now the harvester count is 44 to 25.
This is nearly double the harvesters, and again, if he hits both, he's like just not watching. Well, neither is Sirius at this moment in time, but...
The problem is he can't afford to do it right now, and look how many kills actually Sirius already got. He just killed... Actually, he didn't kill another drone. He killed a couple of Zerglings at the bottom right.
Yeah, and he got a ton of drones in the red. If he gets 1 more baneling in there, he can kill them all. And the trading here... Oh, wow. 1 for 3.
That was brilliant. And he still has Banelings available. He takes down the Zerglings with ease. And just look at the overall supply. Look at the advantage that the FXOpen
And he's just making more drones.
And he's even going for +1/+1.
Yeah, he's going to have every advantage in the book. He's got the spines going up. The worker count now 48 to 28.
Yeah, but you know, he needs to be a little bit careful because the army for Jay will be there. So that's one of the things that he has to be really, really careful about. He has the Spinecrawler, he also has the Banelings, but if he's overwhelmed right now, this is the only chance that Jay has.
Well, that was not the best trade ever, actually, for Sirius.
It was 3 for 3, so it was still okay.
Yeah. Oh, that was close. Nice targeting here by Jay this time.
Takes down 2, but Sirius has to defend. That's why he gets the second Spinecrawler.
And he just needs to buy time because he's got the better tech here coming out. The thing is, he starts his lair. That's so important. He's getting the macro hatch as well. Those are like the next 2 steps for him. Jay is droning up again back home. He's not all in with this. This is not a good trade. Gives away a few links for free there. Oh!
Yeah, he tried to go for it, but the problem that he really has right now is that catching up with his opponent's economy is not going to be easy. He needs to do some damage, and I don't think that Sirius will allow him to get into the base. He's trying some run-bys, he's trying to force the Fnatic player back, and the situation couldn't be worse for Jay. He is up against an opponent who's getting double upgrades, who's getting layered, and this is just something that you can't easily recover from.
Yeah, it's, I mean, it's almost impossible. All of that. Again, Lovesick is just missing out. It's like he's not paying attention. He seemed stressed, he seemed focused in the booth, but
it's just so tricky to play a CVC.
Oh, wow.
The Baneling was 1 second where you don't pay attention could mean the end of the game. And this is exactly what we're seeing right now. Over and over again, Sirius makes those Banelings worthwhile. Yep. Takes down the Queen and also the Spinecrawler.
The Spine is down, the drones are going to die, and right now...
Oh, the Banelings in the main base. He needs to go. Oh no!
Oh, it could have been worse, but it was still pretty good. Oh yeah, look at that.
The Harvester. 32 workers killed in total. The Harvester count right now is 49 against 18.
He's got no production. That's why he's making those Banelings at his natural.
+1/+1 is also done. He doesn't even have to trade.
He's probably going to target the hatch. I don't know. There's more Banelings than drones. How does he even use these Banelings efficiently? I don't know.
13 supply left. FXOpen series takes game number 2. He doesn't even have to pay attention because of the 1/1 upgrade. GG! Sirius takes it.
That was pretty one-sided. A few very critical lack of attention where it mattered moments for Jay, just allowing his links to die several times. You cannot let that happen. Obviously, he got a little bit behind from the beginning based on the opening and the great defense by Sirius, but then he miscontrolled. And if you do that too many times, you're just going to lose.
FXO Sirius with a good job in game number 1. His team is ahead in the GSTL team match now. And Fnatic once again finds themselves behind, and today they only have 5 players on the bench.
Yeah, so that means that FXOpen knows every player they will face as well, which is a scary position as a team like Fnatic. It's like, you know, NSHosa had to deal with this as well. They know every player can come out, and the longer the match goes, it's like there's even less players you have to worry about because you know just who's coming out next.
Exactly, the more predictable your opponent becomes, so this is definitely a problem that they are going to face right now. So I guess we will once again have a short break before we're heading into our second match, and then we are also going to find out which player is going to be chosen for Fnatic. They're going to choose the player after the break, right?
I think they're going to choose a player before the break.
That would actually be nice because I want to know. I really want to know who's going to be sent out next. Because who do you send out? You have a strong Zerg player on the bench, but do you send out Alive already? Do you really want to send him out?
No, I don't think so.
Probably neither. So
I think it needs to be. I think it needs to be Rain.
Yeah.
Rain in a TVZ against this guy. The guy hasn't shown too many matches. I think Rain has a lot more experience and can very easily take him if he plays the game well. So I think not only that, but Rain is a pretty good player in all matchups, and I think that using him here is another way to. It's like it puts Fnatic like a second start. They have like another opportunity to start things off okay.
One of the things that we've seen Rain in the past is a lot of plays against Zerg, and he always looked pretty good. So here we have the bench now, and who's it gonna be?
It looks like it may in fact be Rain, but
Top left is Rain, top right we have Alive, the two Terrans, and it is Rain.
Yeah, I think this is the best choice that Fnatic can make here.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, we just talked about it. Putting Rain out as the second player makes a lot of sense, giving the lineup. And well, we're going to find out who is going to prevail in the second game. We have a Terran versus Zerg at our hand with Sirius against Rain, so this should be good.
That should be very good. I think before our break we might take a look at some of Rain's statistics here. But he is just an all-around great player. Obviously 2-5, but he's playing against some of the best players in the world. When you play in Team League, you very rarely have a 50% win ratio. If you do, you're one of the best players the Team League has to offer. This guy is currently in Code B, has played in a lot of foreign tournaments, as well as was a runner-up for a GSL.
Yeah, he is one of the players that can play the straight-up game, but at the same time he loves to be aggressive. He loves to sometimes just go for a double barracks opening, for example. The last matches against Zerg that he played, he 2-0'd Lovesick in an online tournament. He was able to defeat Idra in a show match, Fnatic against EG. And well, before we head into this game, of course, we have the break that we talked about. After 5 minutes, we will be back with the second game at the GSTL between FXOpen and Pennant.